Hello, welcome back to Kids Coding Playground channel. Today we'll continue working on the Halloween memory game that we have left off. So this is part 3. Before I start, let me do this. Let me rename this Halloween memory game. I'll call it teaching. So because I have the other one, don't want to get it confused. All right. I believe you guys understand. If not, you have to look at the part 2 of the video. But last what we left off is we generate the list for the game matching number, and then we generate the game sprite name, and after that we send the broadcast message to the individual Halloween sprite, and based on that they get the name of the sprite, and then it will set that costume. Just like right here, you see that 1 is a spider, so that's why 1 got set up as a spider, and number 2 is the candy, that's why it's set up as a candy. So that's where we left off. So now we will continue to work on it. We'll work on the cover, and then we will create a clone of each of these, duplicate these costume, this sprite, and then we'll have to set the costume for our game. Alright, okay, let's go to the sprite first. So make sure we have the correct code. Let's go to the first sprite. So we have the when they set up the sprite, we have changed the costume. I think you already understand that. What we also want to do is we will want to drag this show under here, just in case later on we hide it at the end. You know, we can hide the screen, and then we need to show it at the beginning. All right. Okay, that's done. We'll add the same thing here. I think I missed that earlier. Let's add this here as well. Okay, so we have this and this. Now let's work on the covering. Okay. All right. So we will work on the first cover. So the first cover will be covering the first sprite here. Okay. What we're going to do is we are going to drag the event when green flag is clicked. Kind of zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better. And what we can do is there's something called go to, right? What you can say is go to Halloween sprite 1. So this cover 1 will go covering this guy. All right. And what you also want to do is make it go to the front layer, so that when it goes there, will cover the Halloween sprite, so that player cannot see that. And then you say show. Okay. All right. Okay, what we want to do is, if we run this code right now, you will see that this will cover the first box. So let me try that. Let me run this code real quick. You see, it covered the first box, right? So what we need to do is when it clicked on it, we have to reveal the card underneath. So what we need to do is this. We have something called, there's an event for when the sprite is clicked, right? So there's some kind of event like that. So we'll look for that. Let's see when the sprite is clicked, right? This is when the sprite is clicked. And what we need to do is we are going to check if the cat finished saying something, right? You remember the cat, we were broadcasting the game is started as yes right here, this broadcast here. So what we want to see is after this is done, then we will allow it to click. Otherwise we don't want it to click while the game is still setting up, right? So that's why we need to check. So you say if, put this here and get this operator. Okay, you are going to compare that variable we just set, right? Is game started? We set it to Y, right? So if the game is started, then you will allow the player to click on it. Okay. Okay. So how do we hide it? It's very simple, right? We can just call it hide, right? So like let's say we do this, we click on it, you see it shows, right? But this is not enough to make the game correct, right? We just started it cover, and then once it populated, we just say hi, right? Hi, hide, right? It click it open up. So that's how we hide, right? But this is not enough. So what we need to do is we have to keep track of what the player selected, the first choice and the second choice, right? So what we have to do is, you remember we created some variable earlier for the player's choice 1 and 2. So we will be using these to check. Okay. All right, so we'll get another condition here. So you drag this. Let's take this high out for right now. We'll put this condition in here. Okay, we are going to use a OR joint here. Okay, this is an OR joint for the if statement. What we're going to do is we're going to check if the user had already selected something. So how do you tell if the user has selected something? What you can do is using this length. So the length is telling like how big the how many letter in the variable they have. So let's say we have say player choice 1. So player did not choose anything. The length will be 0. So if the player choose something, we'll put the name of the sprite into this variable, so it will have some value, right? So we'll do that later. So what you can do is just take this, the length of this guy. Nope, you have to do the operator, take another operator, equal. So you say the player choice length is 0, meaning nothing is there. Okay, you drop this into the first OR joint here. Then let's duplicate this and put it on the second one. Maybe I'll zoom back out a little bit. Okay, and then you can right click and you can choose the player choice 2. So basically if the user have not choose anything for the first choice or the second choice, what we want to do is we are going to broadcast something called selected sprite 1, right? Because this is the first sprite and this is the first cover. So in order to communicate with the other sprite and the variable, we'll have to broadcast messages. Okay, so use this broadcast message and wait. Click on this new message and then type in selected sprite 1. So the player selected the sprite 1 since it's clicking on the cover 1, right, which is going to be on top of the sprite 1. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we are going to hide it. Okay, so this is the first time the players do the choice, so we have to do the second choice. So we'll work on that a little bit later. So this is either choice 1 or choice 2 is not there, or broadcast the message. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do, we're gonna go back to the first sprite where we broadcast a message for the sprite, and we are going to add some code. Okay, so we just broadcast that message, right? So we have to receive that message. So let me kind of zoom in a little bit. So when I receive this selected sprite 1, okay, then we're gonna check the length again. So using the if condition here, okay, and then you can use the operator, and you can use the length again, and we are checking for player choice 1. Okay, we don't have to check both of them since there's only 2 choices. So what we do is we are going to check the first choice. If the first choice is not correct, then we'll use the second choice. So we know if it's not the first choice, then it will be a second choice. So what you do, actually I pulled the wrong one. We need the if and else, right? So that because we have 2 choices. So what we do is this. Okay, if the length of the first choice is 0, meaning it did not have anything selected, then we will set it. Okay, we'll say variable set the player choice 1. Okay, 2, we'll say set it to the custom name. So what is the custom name? Let's go back to look for the custom here, right? So let's say custom number, right? Name. So we want the name. So which is these kind of name, right? And then else, we will set it to player choice 2. Okay. So if it's not player choice 1, it's not there, we'll set it. If it's player choice 1 is already there, we'll set it to player choice 2. So when the first time you clicked on it, let's say player clicked on choice 1, then the player doesn't have any choice yet, then they will set that name. And then the player click on another choice for a different sprite, then you know there's choice 1 already picked, then they set it to choice 2. Okay, I hope you guys understand that. Okay, I'll run through some scenario you'll understand a little bit better. So what we need to do is we are going to create another another cover. But before we do that, let's go back to the cover. We'll finish some code here so we can duplicate the code. Okay, so we will need another if operator here. Put it underneath here. What we want to do is make sure that, okay, if the player has selected both of the choice, then we want to check the answer, right? Okay, so what we can do is this. We use an AND operator this time, not the OR. So above is using OR, now we're going to use the AND. So we are going to take this, choice 1, and choice 2. Not greater than, we're going to use a greater than, not equal. So sorry, I was trying to be lazy. I guess that's not going to work. Let's just use the greater than here. Oops. So if the length of choice 1 is greater than 0, meaning something already selected, and we'll duplicate this now. Put on like this, we'll select this. So you have to right click that if you want to select it, okay? Right click on the variable, it will pop up this window and you can select. Okay, so the length of player choice 1 is greater than 0, meaning something has selected on player choice 1. And the player choice 2 also selected. So basically the player had selected two cards. Then what we want to do is we want to broadcast a message, okay, and wait. So what you want to do is use broadcast a message and wait. What this is going to do is going to wait for the checking of the instruction. So if you put a wait here, so that means it'll prevent users from clicking more than one time on the board. If they already select 2 choices, you don't want them to keep on clicking, right? So that's why we use this select and broadcast and wait. We'll set up a new message called, let's say, check answer. Okay, I have this a lowercase. I mean, it could be uppercase, I guess. Let's make it same. I think all my broadcast is uppercase, right? Yeah, let's just change that to be consistent. Call it select sprite 1. Right, selected sprite 1. Okay, all right. Okay, well, since we made that change, we make sure that we have followed that. Change this back to select sprite 1. Okay, all right. So you don't have to do that. I just want to check, make sure it's consistent. So since I was using capital S in the broadcast message, I want to make it the same. Okay, all right. Okay, so what we want to do is we are going to create one more cover box, okay? And then we are going to code the second sprite here, so you can see. So let's just say right click, say duplicate. So this is cover 2. So cover 2 will have most of the code from what we have done for cover 1, but we are going to change it slightly. Okay, instead of go to Halloween sprite 1, we have to go to Halloween sprite 2. So this is the second box we want to cover this guy. So we're going to go to 2, right? Same thing here. The game is started, same. We are going to check this, but instead of broadcast selected sprite 1, we need to broadcast a different one. We'll call it selected sprite 2. So this will let the sprite number 2 know that we have selected him. Okay, so same code, player choice 1 not there or this, then it will select it. If the player choice 1 or 2 is greater than 0, meaning both of the choices are populated, then we'll broadcast check answer. So check answer will have to code it in the cat later. But for now, don't worry about that. Just make sure the code is kind of looking like this. And we have to set up in a different location, right? Oh no, I think we're fine because we have the location of the sprite 2. I think we're good there so far. Okay, all right. Let's go back to number 2. We're gonna have to copy some code from the cat to this guy, the sprite 1 to 2. Okay, let's see, we have this. Let's copy, drag, and then kind of drop it in here. Okay, all right, so make sure you remember to change this to 2, right? Because we're on number 2 sprite. And I think we're good here so far. Let's just run the game, see how it goes. Okay, so we'll run the game, we'll populate the list and populate the sprite, and then we'll cover it. So what do we see here? Number 1 is the toe, is that right? Yep, that's the toe. And number 2 here is the black cat. right? So that's correct. So let's say we click on this, does it open and show? Let's see. Okay, also we want to see the variable, right? You guys make sure you want to turn this on so that you can see what the player has chosen, right? Okay, let's see. So if I click on number 2 first, doesn't matter which one. Whatever I click on first will go to the first choice, okay? Let's say I click on the second box. So you see it populates the first choice saying black cat, right? The black cat. If I click on the second choice, since the first choice is populated here, right? This code here, right? You see, right? If it's or this or broadcast, so now player choice number 1 already been populated. Now player choice number 2 is not there. So what it does is it's gonna broadcast this select sprite 1 will come back over here, and select sprite 1 will set the name, right? If there's nothing else chosen. For choice 1 it will put this, if else it will put on choice 2, so it doesn't matter. So choice 1 already fulfilled, right? Because of this code here. So choice 1 was not there before, so it set the name for choice 1. So now this will run the choice 2. So if I click on this, so you see that it populated choice 2 as the frog. So now we have both of the choice. So player have opened 2 cards. So now we are going to match it, right? Okay. Alright, so how do you match it? So what you have to do is you have to go back to the cat. Okay, the cat has a lot of code. We'll do some code on the side here. Let's do it over here. Okay, so what we do is we're going to zoom in a little bit. Drag this event here. When I receive check answer, that's when we have both of the choices been picked. We're going to call this check answer. What we're going to do is we are going to grab the condition here, this if statement, and else, if and else. So we are going to check if they're the same. So what we're going to check is we're going to check the variable of player choice 1 and the variable of player choice 2. So if they're the same. If that's the same, then we will make the cat say something. Say you have a match. We'll do it for 1 second, so a little bit faster. If you want the user to be able to see the longer, then you can put it like 2 seconds. And then what we want to do is we want to add this choice to the match list. So we are going to use the match list to match it later. Okay. So that we know, like, if the user have picked up all the match, then the game is over. So what we're going to do is we are going back to variable, go to the list here, grab this one, add things. Okay. So we'll put it under here. So we'll take up one of the variable, doesn't matter which one because they're the same, right? So they're the same, right? You can get 1 or 2, doesn't matter. And what we want to do is we are going to set it to this player selected match list. So this is so if you have a match, we'll add it to this list. Okay, and we will use another one. I'll put this here. So we are going to compare the list. Since we have a 12, we're going to create 12 boxes, right? So that will be 6 match, right? So if all of them are done, they will have actually 6 value in this list, right? So we can say go back to variable, and you will say there's something called linked, right? So you say linked of player match selected list equal to 6, meaning you match all 6 pair. Then you can broadcast a message. So you can broadcast a message and wait. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter for this one. You can broadcast a you win. So because you made all the 6 pair, send you win. So we can create another sprite and then display you win later. Okay. Just for now, just broadcast it. Don't worry about it. We'll get back to it. And then we'll grab this one here, saying sorry, not a match, or not a match, try again. Okay. Okay, and then what we need to do is after they check the answer, we want to clear the answer. Okay, so we have to clear the answer so that next time we can check it, right? So you have to say check player choice 1, just delete that, duplicate this, player choice 2, we'll delete it. Okay, and then what we need to do, if it doesn't match, what do you have to do? You have to cover it, right? If it matched, then we'll stay on, right? So we actually, after running this check here, after the check, what we can do is we can broadcast another message. All right. So you can say broadcast message. You can either use either one. This one really doesn't matter. So what we can do is just say a new message called cover cards. Okay, so what it does is it's gonna tell the sprite to cover it up if they don't find a match. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our sprite, right? So when we receive like covering the card, we're to do something, right? Okay, so what we need to do is we are going to grab this. Let me move this over a little bit, I guess. Okay. And I'll move this over here. I'll zoom back out a little bit. Okay. Alright. Okay, we are going to grab this if statement here. And then we will use a not operator. So you remember the list that we created earlier when we found a match? We added to this list. So what we can do is we're gonna check if they have the match here. Okay. Okay, so here you say not, use a not operator here, and then we are going to grab the player match list. Where's that? We are looking for contain here. Contain, okay. Game matching number list, player selected match list. That's the list that the player selected, right? If it contains, okay, go back to look, and then we're gonna use the custom name. Okay, if it contains a custom name, that means it's a match. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're gonna broadcast another message. Okay, we will broadcast another message. Okay, what we want to say is show cover 1. I think I have spaces on mine. Okay, this one doesn't have space. Man, I'm not putting consistently. I really hate that. But anyway, I think these have no space. That's me. Put it no space. I should make it more consistent on my coding with these messages. Show cover 1. So what we want to do, if it doesn't match anything, we want to make sure the cover back the sprite. So we had this in our sprite 1, right? We have to go back to cover 1. Okay, so in the cover 1, we will receive this, right? Show cover 1. What we want to do is we are going to show it. Basically, after you hide it, right? Select it, open, and then if it doesn't match the sprite, then this guy will broadcast the show cover 1 will come back to here, and then this guy will show up and will hide the frog, right? Whatever it is. Okay, now let's finish the other cat as well, similar to what we had here. Okay, we are going to drag it and drop it into the cat, and we move it down here. Okay, so we copy it over here right now. Let's go check. Okay, we have it over here, the check answer. So what we need to do, we are going to change this broadcast message. We'll make a new one, say show cover 2. So this will broadcast back to cover 2. So similarly for cover 1, right, with this show, we'll just copy it over. We're going to change the message here. show cover 2. Okay, alright, I think we are good here. Let's just test out the code and see how it goes, okay? Okay, let me play this again. So you have the empty list, 2 of them populated. I'll click on the first choice is the I. Second choice. Oops. Okay, I made a mistake over here. This is not check answer. Make sure you guys select the cover cards, okay? Just like what we had here. Should be cover card, not check answer, okay? Made a mistake there. So, alright, so make sure you select that correctly. I think I did not select it correctly earlier. Okay, the check answer should only be here that we're checking the answer. These two are actually covering the cards, okay? So make sure you do that. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, once it's populated the list, right, we will click on the first one, you select the devil. Second one, the candy. You see that it doesn't match, so it closes it back. So if they actually have a match, then it will actually stay on. Okay, I think we'll stop right here for now. Next time we'll go into creating more sprite and then the more cover to finish off that part. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to our channel, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.